I've been thinking about this whole Africa thing, and let me tell you, it's wild. You know how we always hear that Africans sold us into slavery? Well, folks, buckle up because we're about to go on a wild ride through history. It's time to set the record straight and dig deep into the real story behind the slave trade. And trust me, it's more twisted than my grandma's logic when she tries to explain why I should have been a doctor. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room. You've probably heard people say, the Africans sold us into slavery. But that's not exactly how it went down. It's like blaming the victim for the crime. You know what I'm saying? We've got to look at the bigger picture here. It's kind of like when I first came to America and people assumed I lived in a tree. Like, come on folks, we have houses too. Now, I'm not saying Africa was some utopia before the Europeans showed up, but the idea that Africans were just sitting around waiting to sell each other? That's some Hollywood-level fiction right there. The reality is way more complicated, and it's time we understood what really went down. It's like trying to explain cricket to Americans. There's a lot more going on than you think. Okay, folks, listen up. We need to hop in our time machine and go back way back, like 1,000 years before the transatlantic slave trade. Yeah, you heard me right. 1,000 years. That's when this whole mess really started cooking. It's like trying to understand why your ex is mad at you. You gotta go way back to find the root of the problem. See, Africa wasn't new to the concept of slavery, and this is a big, but it wasn't the same kind of slavery we think of today. It was more like, a really messed up employment system. Still bad, don't get me wrong, but different. And this system, it made Africa vulnerable to what was coming next. It's like leaving your Facebook profile public. You're just asking for trouble. Now, here's where things get really interesting. You ever heard of the Arab slave trade? No? Well, pull up a chair because this is gonna blow your mind. Long before European ships started showing up on African shores, Arab traders were already in the game. And when I say long before, I mean centuries. It's like they were the beta testers of the slave trade, not something to be proud of. But they were there first. These Arab slavers and their descendants, they were like the OGs of the slave trade. And when the Europeans came knocking, guess who was there to, help out? That's right, these guys. They had the connections, they knew the roots, and they knew how to exploit the existing systems. It's like they were the evil HR department of the slave trade. You know, the kind that makes you fill out 20 forms just to request a day off. But for something way, way worse. So there you have it, folks. The story of Africa and slavery isn't as simple as we've been told. It's a complex web of history, culture, and yeah, some seriously messed up stuff. But by understanding the real story, we can start to heal and move forward. Remember, knowledge is power, and now you've got the power to change the conversation. Let's keep talking, keep learning, and keep growing together. And hey, next time someone tries to simplify this complex history, you can hit them with facts like Trevor Noah hits the punchline, smooth, unexpected, and leaving them thinking.